Hi, everybody. It's Dallas Travers. Welcome back to Coaches on a Mission. This is where you're going to get a front row seat into real life coaching in real time with coaches who are probably a lot like you. They're building sustainable businesses in a world that feels a little bit chaotic. All right, so every episode here, you're going to get a behind the scenes look at how I think, how we operate inside the Hive, and how two minds coming together can really create a massive shift for another person. And as coaches, we love nothing more than that. So my guest today is Jami Glenn. Jami is an emotional wellness coach, and she helps families move through meltdowns and big behaviors and big emotions with more calm, a lot more connection, and a lot less yelling, reactivity, or overwhelm. So before I say hello to Jami, I just have a really special announcement. We're recording this in June. If everything goes according to plan, this episode is going to air on July 12th. So let's assume it's July 12th and you are listening. I'm just excited to let you know that we are hosting a summer intensive. It's called Best Coach Ever. It's 4 weeks long and enrollment is now open. So a lot of coaches are quietly wondering if they're still as valuable as they used to be. All right. Honestly, that's a really smart question to be asking because ChatGPT and Claude, they can hand your clients information, they can deliver frameworks, they can even give what looks and smells a lot like decent advice. What these large language models cannot do is read the room, right? Identify questions that aren't actually being asked. These models cannot know when to push a client, how to hold them accountable, and really how to help them show up for themselves in a meaningful way. That is your job as a coach, but only if you know how to adopt the most modern skills into your practice. So Best Coach Ever is built around the two skills that make me really, really good at what I do, and most coaches really irreplaceable right now. So the best part about this intensive is it's only $88. It's 4 weeks with me learning the two skills that I use more than any others, again, for only $88. So it's going to be a summer adventure. I want you to grab your spot now by going to dallastravers.com/bestcoach. Spots are filling up. I look forward to seeing you there. We're going to have a great time at summer school. Whew, that was quite a mouthful. Jami Glenn, thank you for coming on the podcast today. I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so we typically start these episodes off with two questions. The first thing I want to know is how things are going for you in the Hive. We just passed your 6-month mark in the program. So can you give us a sense for how the last 6 months have gone for you?
Yes, the last 6 months have totally transformed my business just by being in the Hive. I've been doing this business, but with side gig energy since 2020. And I really hit the ground running with the Hive in January. And I have hit all of my financial goals. Q1 was crazy. I actually started with Client Surge and I was prepping for Client Surge. And I got a full client roster, which has never happened ever. I launched my first power group in Q1. I'm now working on Bundleicious and increasing my newsletter community. And so I am a huge cheerleader of the Hive. I tell everyone about it just because that accountability, also just being in a room with other coaches who are asking such good questions that even if it's not a question that you have, it pertains to you. So I fill up my notebook with every call. The community has been amazing. I'm so, so glad that I got into the Hive. So thank you for creating a space that's been so awesome.
I'm so glad I asked you that question. I think we're done here today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Okay, so you've been implementing, right? You've been working away. And one thing we were talking about before we hit record was you've realized this, it's almost like a tectonic shift in how you want to show up energetically in your business. So can you share with me and with everyone listening what you want to take away from our time together today?
Yes, I would really like some clarity on the offers that I have because of what I do. Because I'm working with kids and families with big emotions and big behaviors, there's a lot of overlap there. meaning school districts ask me to come and speak. Nonprofits who serve kids that come from hard places ask me to speak. So I'm doing a lot of workshops for a lot of different people, which I love, but I really feel it's too much for me to kind of keep on top of. Like, I feel like I'm at the point right now where I always have like a new offer that I need to be, talking to people about. And I feel scattered. And so I know that my community probably feels scattered of like, oh, wait, she's doing this now? Like, what is this? So I would like to come at this with more of a planned out
Yeah.
energy of here's what I offer, here's my game plan so that I can like confidently and calmly talk to parents and families about that game plan.
Okay, so I want to reflect my understanding here. What I heard you say was you've got, and this just is such a testament to the quality of the work that you deliver. I don't know if you've caught that part, so I just want to reinforce that for you.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of different lead sources coming to you, asking you to deliver something for their community. So you have found yourself like whipping up a bunch of different introductory offers based on these requests.
Yes.
And now you're having a hard time keeping your head on straight, but also like talking about all of these different offers with the community that you're creating. So it just feels a little bit chaotic and overwhelming. Is that accurate?
100% accurate.
Right. Right. So before we hit record, I love this analogy that you gave. I want to share it with our listeners. You talked about how before you were relating to your business with like side hustle energy, and now it's time to give your business the respect that it deserves and treat it like the real deal.
That's
So
right.
with side hustle energy, we say yes to all the invitations, right? And we are like whipping up slides in Canva whenever anybody asks us to. But I'm hearing you say that you've graduated beyond that.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I feel like I have. I brought this question to you a couple months ago in the Hive, and you had this really great table that you told me to do. You said, like, do joy, profit, results, and map it out. And I did, and it was pretty clarifying, but I literally decided that I wasn't going to serve school districts anymore. And the very next week, a really large opportunity to do training for the whole state of Missouri
Oh my God.
came up. I know. So then it threw me off. And so now I'm doing that, which I'm super excited about, obviously, but I really need to hone in on who I serve and how I want to serve them. And then also I'm just wrapping up my first power group. I called it Parent Lab, and I absolutely love it. I love it so much. So there's that aspect of it as well that yes, I just have kind of a lot going on, and I really want to serve my clients really, really well. And that side gig energy is no longer serving me or my community.
Right. Say more about this decision to not work for school districts. I think I need to understand what's involved, right? And why it's a no for you, unless it's the entire state of Missouri. So like, fill me in a little bit more on that.
Okay, so I love working with teachers. My background is in public school teaching. However, I had seen that a lot of admins were hiring me to kind of check off the box that like, hey, we have a trauma-informed behavior, classroom management, PD here for you. And that's so much. It's so different than what I really love to do. I love to, do small groups with teachers of like really what is triggering you in the classroom and how can we brainstorm these classroom behaviors that are activating you as the adult. And so I got a lot of like vanity feedback from those. Like teachers would be like, oh my gosh, that was so great. But first off, there wasn't a lot of ROI as far as like profit goes because I work mostly with parents. So I would come in, I would do a workshop for teachers, and it would be like, high five, thank you so much for coming in, and then I would leave and maybe I would get in my foot in the door with their PTA, but it was very much the energy of those workshops was half of the room was super excited and, really wanting to be there. And then the other half, they were just like checking off a box, which I totally get. I was a teacher. I get it. So when I just compared that, when I did that joy, profit, results table, when I compared the school districts, it was like medium joy for me. It was medium profit and it was low results. So I had just decided, you know what, I'll just cut that out. And then that
Missouri
happened.
called.
Yeah, Missouri called. Missouri called. Yes, which I'm very grateful for.
Yes.
And I'm super excited about. And
Yeah.
also, you know,
Okay,
wanting
so
to
what I'm
take
understanding here is you get, when you're hired by a school or a school district to come in, there's going to be half the room that's into it and half of the room who is checking a box. And that part is okay with you. What I caught here was the tricky part was if that was a room of parents, the people who had been excited might then hire you or come into Parent Lab and continue the work. So working for the schools is not a way to leverage that built-in community to bring in more clients into your practice.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
It feels like a dead end a little bit. Now, I will also say though that once I, started brainstorming with this nonprofit who was bringing me into all these school districts, I got really excited about it because my game plan is that I'm going to do these workshops for these school districts, but then also have it be like a pairing where it's like, I will come in and train your teachers. And then that evening I will train at your PTA for your parents. So I feel like that's a pretty good workaround for that. I feel pretty solid with that. And I'm excited for it. I didn't want to close the door on that because it was a great opportunity and I'm excited for it. So that part feels okay. It just threw me for a loop after I had done that table.
Yeah. No, that's like whatever power you believe in. I know for you, it's God, right? So that's God saying, let's see if you mean it. You just did all this work and made a promise to yourself. So let's just give you an opportunity to keep your word. All right.
100%.
There's something that you might not be seeing here. And if you've already caught it, let me know and we will move on. First, I want to say, I think it's really smart to, when approached by an organization that isn't a parent organization, okay? It's a school or some other organization that serves people who serve families, but not parents, right? I think you can say yes to those if they fit into your schedule and if they say yes to the way you deliver it.
Got it.
Right? So, Missouri, thank you for calling. Here's how I work. I will host a training for your educators. We're going to cover A, B, and C. I will also host that same day a training for parents, the PTA, where we will cover X, Y, and Z. This is what I charge. Like, this is the format. Would you like me to come or not? So no more like co-creating these bespoke experiences.
Okay.
And here's why, if that aligns with your calendar and feels good, here's why I want to encourage you to do it. This is massive credibility and it's content that you can then share with the parents you're cultivating in your newsletter community. So writing a newsletter about how you went and spoke to another school district in Missouri. And here was the question that an educator asked me. And here's how I answered it for him, right? And here's how I would answer it differently for you, the parent. So it just is such a funnel for content and for credibility. Like if the state of Missouri trusts you, then maybe I can trust you too.
Yeah, that's helpful. That's really helpful.
So I know we're not getting to your offers yet, but can you imagine a future where, you do say yes to these organizations when they say yes to your rules? So you're never reinventing the wheel, you're showing up and you're delivering, and it just gives you more and more credibility.
100%. And that's exactly the type of reframe that I am needing, because it was that, I'll do whatever you want. What workshop do you want me to do? What do you want me to hit? Like all these different things. And so I love that, just that energy shift of like, I would be happy to offer you guys a workshop. Here's what we'll cover. Here's what it looks like. That's great. Spot on. I can do that.
Okay. So action items for you. Number 1, create your, this is how we roll deck, right? So whether that's in Canva or it's a Google Doc or it's just a little list, this is how I respond when I'm invited by organizations. Just breaking it all down, telling them the price, like it's all there, and then it's rinse and repeat. And they can say no if they want. You're really just doing it for content mining and more credibility.
Love it. I can do that.
Okay. So let's take a deep breath and fantasize about the moment in the not too distant future where your business is just humming along. The energy, every time you show up to serve a client, you leave feeling like more energized than you came in because it's all just flowing and working. You feel the same way when you're talking about your offers and when you're doing the admin and marketing in your business. All right, things are just humming. What do your offers look like? We're not going to talk about the price, but what, like if you had a core group of no more than 3 offers, what paid offers, what are those offers?
Parent lab. I would still be doing a parent group. I also really want to do like a kid lab, like a group for kids.
I love that. Yep.
I guess one-on-one coaching, just because it's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
is that a bad sign that's how I said it?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
we're in seasons in our business. Like if Parent Lab is bustling, right, and Kid Lab is going, and you're in a position where you can say yes or no to a private client and the business is still healthy, your relationship to working with private clients is very different. And I personally believe, my business is very scaled. I still have 2 private clients that I work with on a continuous basis because that's what keeps me sharp. It's different than when you're working in groups. And if I want to call myself a coach, I need to be somebody's coach.
Sure.
Yeah. So if the price is right and it's not eating into either of your labs, there could be room for privates.
Yeah. That sounds great. I think I'm just on the high of how fun Parent Lab has been.
They're great.
And the quick transformations. So yes, but I do love, I can devote about 10 to 15 hours a week. So this is very much like a part-time, my coaching business is part-time. So I do currently have a full client roster who I love. I absolutely love it. So I think that would probably be my ideal. Those are my 3 offers. Now I will also say though, Dallas, like adding to that, like I also have a couple of online courses that I have forgotten about until like an email comes in and it's like, congratulations, you have a purchase. So I do like that aspect of it. I like having courses where if a parent isn't ready to, even like if even a discovery call feels too vulnerable to a mom who's having a kiddo who's throwing a fit every day, I love the idea of her to be able to get on my website and click on it, an easy, inexpensive workshop that will help her get some momentum to even feel a little bit more confident to where she can then have a discovery call with me. So I do like that as well. Does that count as an offer or not really, because I'm not putting like daily, weekly energy into it?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think technically it counts as an offer, but let's put it in a different bucket. Let's put it in the revenue generation bucket more than the offer bucket for the purpose of our conversation today.
Okay, I like it.
So if you have 15 hours of work a week that you can devote to your business, how much time needs to be spent? And the correct answer is 8 million hours, just so you know. How much time needs to be spent on like the marketing, right? And the administration of your business?
Okay, well, to be totally honest with you, when I say 15 hours, it's really not counting that. Like I do the marketing stuff once the kids go to bed, and I don't track that. So when I say 15 hours, it's like I homeschool my kiddos. So part-time, they're homeschooled with me. The other time they're out of school. So those hours when I'm coaching, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't really have an allotted amount of time for marketing.
Okay, so 8 million is your answer.
Yeah, that is my answer. That's my answer.
Okay, so we have 15 coaching hours a week.
Yes.
Okay. So how comfortable are you talking about prices, like actual dollar amounts right now on this recording?
Totally confident.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
I'm totally comfortable.
And anyone listening, you might catch this recording and the prices could be different from what you're hearing today. So we're not making you any promises. I want to talk about revenue. All right. So this future, in the not too distant future image of you, your business is humming and you're making the money you want to make. What is that monthly revenue number?
Monthly revenue is $5,000 a month.
Okay, 5K. Great. So how much are you charging for Parent Lab?
For Parent Lab, this first one was just a tester. It was 8 weeks and it was $250 for 8 weeks.
250. Okay. So 125 a month.
125 a month. Yep.
Okay. And how many people did you have in it?
5.
Now I have to do math.
I'm sorry.
Like in real time on the podcast. How's this going to work? Okay, here we go. 125 a month times 5 families. So that's 625 a month. Okay. And is 5 the full number for lab? I know for me, for power groups, any more than 4, and I'm like, I can't do this. But what's a full Parent Lab cohort?
It felt really good, and we went over every time. So I feel like 5 is probably my max.
Okay.
I would think.
Okay, great. So if we want to here's what I'm thinking we do. We forget about privates right now. Let's make a plan to build your business with the 2 offers you're most excited about. And then privates, you can fit them in when and if there's room, and when and if you feel like it. How does that feel for you?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so if we want to make $5,000 a month, I'm going to divide that number by 125. I'm going to divide that number by 625 because that's the number of groups. Okay, 5,000. 625 is your total monthly revenue per group for Power Group for your Parent Lab. Does that sound accurate?
That sounds accurate, yes. Would I I was thinking in my brain that I would do 1 Parent Lab and 1 kid group.
Great. Okay. A lab is a lab. For the purpose of this conversation, a lab is a lab.
Love it.
Do you realize you'd have to host 8 groups to meet your 5K revenue goal?
That kind of seems like a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's 40 people.
It's 40 people. That's like a lot of energy to hold.
It is.
Right. So we need to raise the price of this immediately. How does that feel when you hear me say that?
What do you think, Dallas? How do you think that feels for me?
Yeah, I think you just feel so relieved and happy and excited to say yes.
No, it does not feel. I make excuses for everybody else. I'm very codependent in my pricing structure. So I know all the things, Dallas. I know the mental mindset of it that just charge more. It's like something I cannot get past.
Do you want to?
It's a valid question. It's such a good coaching question. A part of me does. And then another part of me enjoys. I hope this is helpful for the listeners. I've been in ministry so long. I've been in ministry mindset so long. It's really difficult for me to get out of that mindset. So a part of me definitely wants to. The part of me that wants to feel like I'm totally financially contributing to my family. That part of me 100% is like, oh my gosh, charge more. The other part of me, there's another part of me that is just, it is more important to be generous in spirit than getting a bunch of income.
As she averts her eyes.
Coach away, Dallas.
Jami, there's nothing wrong with that stance. So I have a lot. We all have our own money stories, right? And maybe that's just part of life. And maybe we're not flawed or broken or weak or in need of being fixed because we want to charge an amount that other people would laugh at or immediately respond with, you need to raise your rates, you need to charge what you're worth. Like, there is no such thing as charging your worth because you are priceless. So that's just like a mind game we play on ourselves. And what I heard you say was, yes, there's a world where I would like to contribute more to my family, and equally, I like being totally accessible in my pricing. Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you that you need to raise your prices. I'm not. I took the Hive from $650 a month down to $97. So you're talking to the wrong person here, right? But it is a different business model. So why, maybe it would be helpful for us. So you came in saying I need to get clear about my prices. I'm just going to take a breath and summarize what we've done so far.
Okay.
What we've done so far is realized that there is a time and a place to do these workshops that you're invited to do for organizations. And that is when they say yes to your structure, you get to show up, deliver, feel good, and leave. All right, so that's set aside. So now, if you had it your way, you would primarily be delivering your small groups, which we're calling either parent lab or kid lab. Maybe there's some privates in there. There could be a family that for like privacy purposes or behavioral reasons, they want you privately, but in an ideal world, you're hosting your labs, okay? You mentioned to me that your labs are 5 people. Are they 2 hours long every meeting? How long are the meetings?
It's supposed to be 90 minutes, but it has ended up being 2 hours.
Yeah, let's just call it 2 hours just to make things simple for us.
Okay.
So it's 2 hours per group, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need 8 groups. Is that right? 8 groups? Hold on. So let's just say,
40 people.
Right? We need 40 people. 40, okay. Yeah. So we need 8 groups, which is 40 people. In order for you to charge each family $125 and only deliver groups. So if you need 40 people and one of your email list buys, right, 40 divided by 0.01 is going to tell us how big your email list needs to be, which is 4,000.
My email list is not there.
4,000 is totally gettable.
It is gettable, for sure. 40 feels daunting. I understand what you're telling me here, though, with mathematically. Mm-hmm. Like mathematically, if I don't do something different with my prices, then that's what it's like. That is the reality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I do feel like it's the crossroads where, it's just a crossroads where I have to decide, do I want to raise my prices or do I want to try to hold space for 40 people per month?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So a couple more angles in. If is this helpful, just to like look at it very practically through the data. Okay.
Yes.
So one option is $125 a month. In order to meet your financial goals, you would need 8 groups, 40 people. If your groups meet for 2 hours every other week, is that how you do it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? So that's what, 2 hours. So if you did, so it's 4 groups a week, essentially. 1 a day if you worked Monday through Thursday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
40 can feel like a lot, and you could put some systems in place if you had to like hold that container. In terms of hours in, it's 2 hours of coaching a day, 4 days a week to hit that financial goal.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just erase, etch-a-sketch all of that out of our minds.
Okay.
Trust your first answer here. How many groups feels like, okay, this is full and it's not overflowing. This is a container I can hold.
4.
4 groups. Okay. So that means we'd have to take your price from $125 a month to $250.
Okay.
So imagine you're doing some self-coaching here, right? I'd love to just hear your initial reaction to a monthly price of $250. Like what comes up when you hear me say that?
Well, I think currently that's what my individual coaching is. So it doesn't feel crazy. Like it doesn't feel like a number that's like outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
But my brain automatically went to, that means that I would need to double my individual client price. Mm-hmm. So that's where my mind went.
Oh, and then that is where it starts to feel like a lot.
Yes,
500.
Okay, this is such a good practice for you right here. I have a discovery call on Tuesday. I happen to know a little bit of the background story, and so I'm like, there's no way that sweet family can invest $500 in family coaching. Like I make excuses. Mm-hmm. So I know there's a world where I can hold. Both of those things can be true. I know that there's a world where I can say like, hey, the investment is $500. Is there a way, can you coach me around like an and also dot, dot, dot? Like what's an and also that perhaps I could say, and also you can also say to me like right now, no, you're already making excuses and decreasing your price and you haven't even said your price yet.
You're forgetting that your favorite way to work with people is in the group. So you are the end also is, and also my favorite way to work with families is in the parent lab. I have a parent lab and I have a kids lab, and I have it for two reasons. Number one, your life gets normalized immediately because everybody's going through what you're going through. You will get so much value in the group that just does not come privately. Number two, the group makes the investment much more accessible to you.
Got it.
So those are like, that's the and.
Good.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Now, so the second assignment I want to give you is I would love you to create proof, evidence about why the group is way better than privates. If you can get behind that belief, and I actually believe it. Like I look at my power groups, there's no comparing the progress power group members make compared to private clients. I show up, like I'm more fun in power groups. Like we get together, like there's a group chat. Like it's a whole experience, right? Yeah. So believing that, then when you're in a sales call, it's not, and here's a consolation prize because I'm overpriced. Instead, it's here's my recommendation for you. And not only do I believe it's the best way for us to work together, but it's at a price that is accessible to families, which is so important and meaningful to me.
Yeah. That's good. That lands for me. And I can envision myself saying that and feeling good about it.
Great. So proof of why Parent Lab is the number one choice.
Okay.
And so then when you've made the case that Parent Lab is the number one choice and you still have a discovery call with a family that's like, well, no, we're special and unique, right? Or maybe you have a family where one of the parents is like in politics or something and just like can't be shown up to group calls.
Sure.
Talking about stuff. That is a family that can afford to pay $500 a month. Okay, so this is all fancy talk. What needs to be put in place for you to really embody this and stretch into this next step in your pricing, which, by the way, from my perspective, is still aligned. But I want to check in with you. It still feels very aligned with the ministry side of your work. Does that feel true?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I think sitting here talking to you, it does. We'll see how it feels on a discovery call. But I think, and I think like what you have said before of like, you just practice it. You practice it all the time and you double it so that by the time the discovery call happens, it's so easy to say, which I did. I've already increased my prices since the Hive 3 times.
Oh, I was going to guess twice. Okay.
So it is, I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm doing the work. So yes, that feels doable. I do have a logistics question.
Sure.
Logistically, am I constantly letting people into a power group? I guess it would ultimately be my decision, but what are the pros and cons since you've done it for so long? Yeah. What are the pros and cons that I don't even know enough to think through?
Yeah, I love that you're asking this question. So in the beginning, we like build it messy until we don't have to anymore. So when I first started hosting power groups, the way it all happened was, this is way back when I was making the transition from teaching actors marketing strategies to actually helping coaches do the same. And I had this course called Your Other Dream Job, which was teaching actors like how to launch a side business. Well, there was a group of graduates from that program who wanted to hire me privately. And they're like, we can't afford you privately. By the way, they didn't know what I charged. So that's interesting, right? We can't afford it, but we'd like to share you. So they gave me this proposition. It was like, can we collectively be a client? And I did not know. I was like, sure, let's find out. Yeah. And I loved it. They loved it. It was awesome. So right away I knew I wanted another group. That second group started as 2 people. And then a couple months later, I found a third, right? And a couple months later, I found a fourth. And then the group was locked, right? So I'll talk about the billing and the timing of that. But pretty soon, so now I had 2 groups. I did the same with a third. Again, it started with 2 people, and then I built it up to 4. And then now pretty soon, the power groups are just full and people don't leave. And I don't have to build the plane as we're flying it. But in the beginning, we just do that.
Okay.
And we communicate it to our clients. So I'd love to just give you a couple of best practices around this, if that would be helpful.
Yes, for sure.
Number 1, if you know it's going to be a group of 5, and that probably means everyone gets like 20-ish minutes of coaching from you, give or take.
Yep.
When you start with a group of 2, you don't fill the whole 90 minutes and everyone gets like 45 minutes. Everyone still gets their 20 minutes and the meetings are shorter.
Okay.
That way, when you add more people, the people who have been there from the beginning don't feel like, wah, wah, I'm getting time taken away from me.
Okay.
So if you were in my group of 2, I might set the expectation by saying, I'm curating a right fit group, and it could take a couple months until we have our full group of 5. When we have our full group of 5, our meetings are going to be between 90 minutes and 2 hours. Everyone's going to get 20 to 30 minutes in the hot seat. So as we're building the group, I want to make sure it's the right group. So for now, it's the 3 of us, and you're each going to get 20 or 30 minutes of coaching. So you just like really narrate that. The other thing you do as you add new members, and this is a little bit of extra work, but it just matters so much for the chemistry of the group. When you add that third member, you have a one-on-one with them to kind of get them up to speed.
Got it.
And you make sure you take their coaching time from the group. So now you've got like 20 or 30 minutes to do like icebreaker, get to know you, that kind of bonding for the group so that they get integrated into the group.
Okay. What do I do? And you can bypass this question if this isn't pertinent to the rest of the audience listening.
Sure.
I am getting pushback on my first parent lab was actually in person. And I'm getting pushback. I really thought that moms would want an online option as well, but it was crickets for the online option because they all said, no, I would rather be in the room building community because and that is one reason that Parent Lab is so great. Like power groups are great. How would I do that though? Because it's kind of like a waste of time if they drive to my office, it's in person, and they only get 20 to 40 minutes depending on as I'm building that group.
I'm thinking out loud here. I think there are a couple of, the way I would do it would be to say, no, Parent Lab is online. And once a quarter, we get together in person in my office, if that works for you.
Idea. Oh, that's such a good idea. Okay. I like that answer. We can move on.
Yeah.
We can move on. I really like that.
That's not how we do it. Otherwise, you're stuck with the people who can drive to your house.
True. Yeah.
And you're about to do a bundle. So you're going to get people from all over the world opting into your email list, and you'll have nothing to sell to them.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay. That loop is closed. We can move on.
Awesome.
That's great.
Great. Okay. I want to say one other thing about the billing piece here. I am going to strongly recommend that moving forward with your Parent Lab, it's not an 8-week program that then ends. It's you're in for 90 days. After that, you can graduate whenever it feels aligned for you to leave the group.
Okay. And do you remind them of that? Or is that just like a, hey, at the beginning, and then it's like they just continue to go on until they say they're done?
Yes, exactly. Okay. The second. Yeah. And here's why. We're not manipulating anyone. Like there's not some sort of weird sales strategy going on here. We don't need to put someone in the position month after month to sit and reevaluate whether or not they're getting what they need. Because sometimes what they need is the promise that next month they're going to do better. So it's a burden on your client to have to re-enroll every month, every quarter, like whatever, right? So you just let them know. Everyone joins. It's a 90-day on-ramp. From there, your subscription will just stay in place for as long as you're getting value.
Okay. I love it.
And they're grown-ups, and if they don't want to pay for something, they'll let you know.
Sounds great.
So this also informs. So I used to run power groups where it was like a 6-month minimum commitment. Then I'd get everyone to like re-enroll at the same time. That has become cumbersome and not even relevant, because if they're getting value, they're staying. And if they're not getting value and they want to leave, like I'm not going to force them to keep coming. So that idea of this time-bound commitment is kind of false anyhow. So as long as you have everyone on this 90-day minimum commitment or this 90-day on-ramp, then everyone who enrolls, they're just in an automatic recurring subscription for as long as they're getting value. And they need to let you know, like with 30 days notice, when they're wrapping up.
Okay, great. That feels great. So I've got those two.
Yeah.
So I'm like summarizing here.
Yeah.
So I've got, if I'm looking at it, 50,000 Google Earth view, I have 2 ways, 2 groups that you can jump into if, okay, wait a second. But kids, I'm so sorry, but kids do need to be, this isn't a question. Like, I just know like the kid option is just local, because that I do want to be in person, because we're talking like 3 to 5-year-olds, like with art. And so that's different. But for the rest of for all other labs with adults, that's an online option, or you can do individual coaching. That's my chocolate and vanilla. And everything else is just like, I'm no longer going to let all of that like side chatter from like nonprofits and school districts. Cool. If they want this, here's how I work with you. If that doesn't work for you for whatever reason, no problem. But I have like blinders on where this is like my lane.
Yeah. I'm not the person to come in and teach, because if you don't want this, like the way that I do it, then it's just not a fit. I'm not available. Yeah.
I love it.
And now let's just throw a wrench in it for fun, okay? So you also have a couple of courses that are valuable. They're also a great warm-up for people, like before they're ready to even come on a sales call with you, let alone join a group. Here's where I think the courses fit in. I am a firm believer now that like nurturing is not helpful.
Okay.
So every email that you're sending out to your community, you need to be presenting one of your offers.
Okay.
And so you can have those courses on rotation. I'm almost envisioning just a footer on every email that says, it's like a pretty pink box at the bottom of the email that says, here, like, ready for more? Here's how you can work with me. Go here to get on the list for Parent Lab. Have a kid who lives in what city are you in?
Springfield.
Okay. Oh, Springfield. That's so funny, because I was going to say, let's just say Springfield.
Like, no way.
And it is, I was going to make that up so that's funny, right? So that lives in the Springfield area, right? And you want to get your kid into Kid Lab, go here, right? If you want to get started on your own, check out Course X or Course Y. They'll help you do this. And that's on the footer of every email. So now your courses are available, but you're not pouring any launch energy into selling these courses until you've got your 4 full groups, 20 clients in your labs.
Love that. And in that footer, I'm no longer like pushing any of my free, like not the podcast. Like, am I pushing any freebies at all at this point?
No, I mean, they're already on your email list, right? So if you're pushing a freebie, the freebie becomes the content of the newsletter. I'm going to use myself as an example, right? I have one of my freebies is called Client-Centered Sales Calls. And it's just like the framework that we teach much more deeply inside of Client Search, right? Okay. So I could take that freebie as the email and say, if you want to feel like the best coach ever selling to your clients, I have a free tool for you. Here's what you're going to get inside. Go here to download it. Don't even make them opt in. They're already on your list.
Great.
Right? Like, here's the number one reason why I think you need to check it out.
Okay.
Have a great week. Signed, Dallas. P.S. Pink box at the bottom. Would you like to take it further? Here's how I can help you.
Perfect. Okay. That's great. That didn't feel like a wrench at all.
Okay, great. Awesome. So, Missouri calls. We want you to come and teach. What's your answer?
I would be happy to come and teach. Here's how you work with me. I will offer a workshop for your teachers and also a PTA workshop for any of your parents in your community.
So I don't think the community will would come, but I'd love to have you come and teach a workshop for the teachers. Can we do that?
I'm so sorry. My content is really catered for teachers in the classroom. And then, though, where the work really gets done is at home. So I really want to work with the parents in your school district so that these behaviors are really taken care of at home instead of coming to your classrooms.
Yeah. Perfect. You passed the test.
Yes. Okay, great.
So, what are we going to do to help you really embrace and embody this new adjusted pricing model, where the best place for people to be is Parent Lab? It's only $250 a month. So how can I hold you accountable to really like living in that world so that it really feels aligned for you and easy to talk about?
In all honesty, I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but I have anchor charts in my office where Parent Lab has happened, and we do celebrations every week. And so my wall is like full of all of our celebrations. So I'm just going to bring those to my office and I'm going to look at those celebrations because that is so inspiring when you look at all the things that we have accomplished in 8 weeks. Like these women, like some of their lives have like totally the way that they are, their posture towards their children, their posture towards their spouse. It's really moving, honestly. So I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring that to my office so that I can really remind myself of this work really does matter. And you do have to get skin in the game to make it work. So yeah, that's how I'm going to get that energy.
Well, and then, yes, I think that's such a good idea. I totally support that. Keep in mind, when you have your full groups, right, and everybody's paying $250, you've got room now to raise it up to $265, and that extra $15 from every person goes into a fund, a scholarship fund for a family that needs Parent Lab and can't quite afford it. Right now, at the pricing you're charging, there's no room for you to help people who are even less resourced. So by upping those prices a bit and getting your business thriving a little more, you can actually have a deeper impact on people who need it.
That's great. I love that reframe. That's great.
Awesome. We did it.
We did it. Look at us.
So what for you are your next 3 steps here?
Okay, I got number 1. Create this is how we roll deck for school districts. I'm going to practice that as well. Then number 2, I'm going to create proof evidence why group is way better than private so that I get really comfortable with that on discovery calls. And then number 3, I'm going to create a footer to place my online courses as courses on rotation, but then also allowing people to see other ways to work with me in my newsletter each week.
Great. And number 4, you're bringing all of those Post-it notes on the wall in the workshop room into your office.
Yeah.
Great.
Love it.
Thank you for coming on the show. I like having more time with you. So that was so great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so takeaways for the listeners. Whatever part of this resonated, I want you to grab it in both hands and run with it. Whether that's relating to your pricing model differently, if your goal is to be accessible, maybe raising your prices is the thing that helps you create that scholarship fund so you are even more accessible than you have been before. If you've been thinking about launching groups, maybe you take inspiration from what's been happening in Jami's business to get your own group launched. And then lastly, if you take nothing else away from this conversation, I want you to think about where you're bringing side hustle energy to a business that wants you to be more full-time. All right, I think that's a wrap. Thanks everybody for listening. And Jami, thanks again for coming in. It was great to talk through this with you.
Thanks so much, Dawes.